Hi, welcome to Next Level Jewelry. I'm Joel Torok, and today I'd like to show you how to get our PIRO integrated metal and diamond scales set up with PIRO. And I have one of the scales here. It's actually a metal scale. Setting up a diamond scale is pretty much the same thing. There is no difference. The only difference between a metal scale and diamond scale, obviously, is that the metal scale is 2 decimal precisions and the diamond scale is 3 decimal precisions. And then, the diamond scale also has that, glass box on the top of it. Okay, so let's open this box and let's see what's inside. Okay, so if you're opening a box, you will see a few things. First, there is the tray. There are some user manuals, right? Power adapter. Another power adapter, which is for a network device. This is the network device that connects the scale to the office network, and then this is the cable that connects the scale to the network adapter. Then you have a few separators. And then the scale itself. That's, the packaging itself is fairly easy to take apart. And then here's the scale, right? And then you should see these connectors in the back. So this is the connector for the data output. That's a power adapter, and that's about it. So this is the scale itself. So what we're going to do next is set it up. Here's the scale again. The tray itself has 2 parts. One is the metal part, there's a plastic part. These might separate, when you take them out of the box. Don't worry, just put them back together like that. Simple. Now, what you need to do is make sure that you put the tray on the scale itself. If you don't put the tray on it, the scale will not even start. And then you need to plug in the power. You need to plug in the network adapter, and then you need to plug in the network adapter also into the power. As what we're going to do next is connect the network adapter to the scale. You take this cable, it's pretty straightforward. It's a male-female cable, so you can't really mess it up. There is no way to mess this up. Connect, female part to male part. This is the network adapter. Then you take the other male part, plug it into the scale. Now you can tighten these screws. That's actually recommended. So you tighten the screws. Okay, make sure that these plugs don't pull out by themselves. Then you take the power adapter. You take the network adapter and the power adapter. Sorry, and undo them. Plug them in. Now these power adapters are technically the same specifications, so it doesn't matter which one you're using. One is for the scale, the other one is for the network adapter. It's a 12 volt, 1 amp power supply. It goes straight into the outlet, so you're gonna plug that in. And then the other power adapter, you do the same thing. So take them apart, plug them into the scale. Okay, then plug all these parts into the wall, and the one other thing that you need to make sure you plug in is the network. So the network needs to be plugged in, your office network or home network, wherever you're using the scale, needs to be plugged in to this RJ45 connection. Regular network cable, just get any cheap network cable, plug it in here, plug it into your hub, and that's it. Okay, so when you purchase the scale, somebody from our sales team or support team will ask you the IP address that you want the scale to be set up to, so that when you plug it into your network, it works right away, so you don't have to do any modifications or any configuration. That's the goal here. What we want to do is make sure that the scales that you get are ready to go when you receive them. So once you give them the IP address, the network adapter that you just saw will be configured already to the proper IP address, and also all the necessary configurations will be done in PIRO back there. To be able to communicate with your scale. The scale itself, once there is an IP address assigned to it, this IP address can be routed through your firewall, and then you can actually use and access the scale from anywhere in the world, basically. So, this scale, for example, I just set it up so that it's available worldwide in a sense, and I will access it from one of our servers out on the Amazon cloud, one of our PIRO setups. So we use the Amazon cloud, as you know, for some of our clients. We also have our own private cloud that we use for other clients with different needs. The idea here is that, you know, the scale is sort of like an IoT, an Internet of Things device that you can sort of access not just from you know, one computer only, but you can access it from any computer in your office. And it's not just that, but you can also access it from anywhere in the world if you need to. So let's do that. Let's bring it up in PIRO. Okay, so here we have the scale all set up. It's connected to the power, it's connected to the network. It's ready to go, so we're going to turn it on. So we're going to turn it on with this button over here. You press it, and then the scale is going to go through some self-checks, and it's going to come up within a few seconds. So it's ready to go. Now, by default, these scales usually come with gram and pennyweight setup, and all the other measurement units are disabled. You can switch between the measurement units by using this button over here. So you press it once, you press it twice, and you can see it changes the weight to pennyweights, and then it goes back to 0. Now you can start measuring stuff with it. You know, you can put anything on it. You know, I just put the user manual. There's the weight in pennyweights. If I change the measurement unit to grams, it's going to show the weight in grams. Simple, straightforward. So I'll take off everything. You can see that the there's a slight misalignment here. So what you can do is after or between every measurement, you can just reset the weight to 0 to make sure that the weights are correct. So you press the 0 button over here, it recalibrates the scale. It might take a little bit of time, but it's going to go back to 0. You can know that the scale is stable if you look at this star over here. So if I shake the table, you can see the star sort of disappears. You can see the scale shaking, and then after it stabilizes and stops, it comes back right there. So that's how you know the scale is stable. Okay, now when you get the scale, you also might want to set it to a table level, or more accurate, to the water level. There is this small bubble in there, so you just have to turn the back stands, these ones over there. You can actually turn them left and right on both sides. You can see this, and as you turn them, the scale is going to align in water level. So once you get the bubble in the middle, your scale is up and running and ready to go. My scale over here is not on water level, so it's not you know, it's just all over the place, I guess. Sometimes it's going to come back to 0, sometimes it's going to go back to something else. Anyway, once you set it to the right water level, it's going to work perfectly. Okay, so now that we have the scale set up, it's all plugged in, ready to go, we're going to look at how PIRO reads the scale. Okay, so we have our scale set up over here, and we have PIRO running on the computer, and what I'm going to do next is get the weight for this piece of jewelry and get it into PIRO. So I'm going to put the ring on the scale, and I'm going to go to my job service queue in PIRO and find the job that I need to work with. In this case, let's say it's this one over here. And I click on this icon down here that sort of looks like a scale. So once I click on there, I get the list of items that I need to get the weight for. In this particular case, it's a 18K yellow metal. And I click on this balance icon over here. And you can see that it took the weight from the scale, which is actually set to pennyweight, and converted into grams, and put the gram weight in here. So as you can see, the scale is actually measuring in pennyweights. It's set for pennyweights, and PIRO is converting that weight into grams, and that's how we get the weight in the system. So if PIRO needs grams and the scale is set to grams also, and then it's just going to be the same process. So I can actually change the scale from pennyweights to grams, and I can see that the weights now are again the same. So the scale is now showing grams, 5.59, and at the same time PIRO is also showing the same weight. So it read the weight from the scale. And once I'm done reading the weights, I can actually have several items in here, and I can just put the items on the scale and get the weights for all of them. I can click save, and that will save the weight to the weight history for this particular item. And in the case where I want to use the automated scale reading, meaning that PIRO can just keep reading the weight from the scale, this can be a continuous read, so you don't even have to click on the balance icon over there. Just put the jewelry on the scale, and then PIRO will read it. You click save, you move on to the next item, you weigh that, and you keep repeating this process until all your weight measurements are done. So this is a very fast way of getting the weights into PIRO. Okay, so there you go. You saw how easy it is to set up our scales. You just unbox it, plug in the cables, plug in the power, the network, and you can start using it straight with PIRO. Everything is pre-configured with IP addresses and so on. So that sort of concludes my demo for today. Please come back later. We're going to have some more videos about all the other hardware that we provide with our systems, including our point of sale. Thanks again for watching the video. I'm Zsolt Torak, and see you soon.